What's up, everybody? Agatha returned for another trial on the Witch's Road, and there will, of course, be spoilers for the episode, so you've been warned. Now let's get into episode 4. This week's episode opened up with Mrs. Hart's funeral, or whatever you want to call it, and Agatha knows exactly what's going on here, as it seems maybe this experience on the road is going the same way her first trip did. The bickering that's going on at the start here, too, not loving it. Anyway, Rio, aka Lady Death, comes crawling up out of Mrs. Hart's grave after the coven thinks they summoned a green witch, but we get the line, I was in the neighborhood, and it's not a joke, as she was legit on her way to get Mrs. Hart because every lost soul belongs to Death. It was a great return for Aubrey Plaza in this role that's legit perfect for her, and also leaves me absolutely baffled at the fact that Agatha can resist her because I would fold instantly. But getting back on track, we get to the next trial, and this one's for Alice. She sees her mom and also reveals that her mom was singing her version of the Witch's Road song at concerts, and at first, the coven, they think she was trying to access the road like they were, but they later realize she was casting a protection spell on her daughter Alice. The rest of the coven has to face the trial as well, as Lilia sees people from her past again, seemingly. Jennifer Kale seems to see a demon of sorts, maybe there's another Mephisto link there, and then Agatha just can't escape Rio. Rio even tries to set Agatha up, but they're interrupted when they get cursed. That curse kicks off the trial as the witches start getting burned inside out. Alice reveals that what she had convinced herself was just bad luck is actually a generational curse she received from her mother, and as I mentioned last week, when her mom died, she got the orange hair too. The coven has to play her mother's version of the ballad to move on and break the curse, and now I'm still not a huge fan of all this singing in my comic book projects. I mean, go check out my review for Joker 2 if you don't believe me, but with this show itself, it's at the very least been mixed into some dope scenes with the Salem 7 in the premiere, and now with this demon that looked just alright but cool enough here in episode 4. They do manage to fend off Alice's curse, and they can move on, but Wiccan is down and Agatha starts spazzing. They get him out onto the road, and Jennifer Kale is able to heal him with just water and the moonlight as she's getting her power back despite Mephisto's hold over her. The episode closes as the coven takes a breather before the next trial, and Lilia reveals something interesting. She is, or at least to me, she has a vampire bite, which I don't want to get my tinfoil hat all the way out, but with this it being a big show for the supernatural side of Marvel, it kind of feels like maybe that's a subtle nod to Blade, if at all, anything, maybe even Dracula, but I'm stretching. We also seemingly got confirmation from Agatha herself that at some point in the history of the MCU, she took out the Daughters of Liberty, but also she trained them in the comics, so I kind of think maybe she's once again referring to her first trip down the road with this input. That was another solid episode for this show, though, that continues to genuinely shock me week after week. It hasn't been the best, but it's been consistently solid for 4 straight episodes, which is far more than I ever really expected from the show, if we're being honest. It was great having Aubrey Plaza back this week, and if she's around all the way, the rest of the way, it's going to be smooth sailing. And so that'll do it for my breakdown of the 4th episode from Agatha all along. Like I said, another good episode that survived another musical number, as the show is even impressing me in that regard. Let me know what you thought about episode 4, though, down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.